Grand Rising, good afternoon, and good evening. Whenever, wherever, and whoever you are, welcome to Awakened Abundance. Your go-to channel for that law of attraction, inspired, good sourcey, vibesy, positivity content. Now, if this is your first time here, we'd like to welcome you, invite you to kick off your shoes, have a good look around, maybe like, share, comment, and subscribe, get my words out. And to our subscribers, just want to continually share the love. Thanks for the support. Means a lot. It's great having you with us to witness this journey with us. Now for the disclaimer real quick. We are not professionals. We are simply grateful explorers of life, implementing these law of attraction principles and sharing our thoughts and our experiences. That's it. Now with the disclaimer out of the way, we can get to the source of the matter. And so today, I'm wondering, we're halfway through first month of a brand new year. The thought that I've been kind of playing with is that how's everyone feeling? The beginning of a new year for some people can be a great opportunity, clean slate, and for others, it's that winter season, isn't it? And it can be quite depressing for some people. So, if you're doing well, that's brilliant. If you're not, then of course we wish you improved situation, a swiftly improving situation. One of the things I wanted to talk today about, today's topic, is on the subject of emotions, how we're feeling and why that's important. Now at times, positivity, advocating happiness or being positive, it can be seen in society as weak, wishy-washy, maybe a little bit naive. And I can certainly recall some of the reactions that I've got when I've talked about with zeal the importance of approaching life with a positive mentality. Sometimes you feel that people are agreeing with you. Sometimes it seems like people are just kind of humouring you, and sometimes you can just feel that people aren't really on board with what you're saying. I mean, it's funny now, but it wasn't at the time. But I can recall a situation where I was at work listening to a colleague talk to one of our colleagues. I was just around listening, and I heard them say that they don't trust people that are smiling frequently or happy most of the time. And as I heard that statement, I thought about it. And the moment I heard it, it made perfect sense, because for some reason, this person really seemed to dislike me. And I really couldn't understand why. I'm sitting there thinking, well, I don't think I've said anything offensive. I don't think I've done anything. And I just could not work it out. But this person just really seemed to dislike me until they made that statement, because I generally smile quite easily and I strive to be someone that's quite positive. So that clearly frustrated this person. But why am I talking about emotions? What's the relevance of it? Like, why is it relevant? Well, on a very practical level, I've personally found that feeling good is much better than feeling bad. So we'll get the easy one out the way first. It just seems to feel better to feel good than it does to feel bad. And sometimes the difference between the two is basically a shift on our perspective or making some pretty practical changes. Sometimes the changes required are a little bit more complex. But I've also been exploring the connection between our emotions and physical and mental well-being. Seems to be that there's significant evidence now supporting that these things are connected. Interestingly, more so is that health authorities are publicly recognizing this more and more over time, which is great for general awareness. It's a good thing to know that, for example, if you're worrying a lot, you can develop physical sicknesses. This is probably a handy thing to know and maybe a good thing to think about and try to avoid. But that's not the main reason that I wanted to talk about emotions today. The main reason is more to do with universal law and the relevance of our emotions where universal laws are concerned. And there were two that I wanted to talk about. One of them being the law of vibration. The law of vibration states that everything in the world, everything in the universe is in a constant state of movement or vibration, and that nothing is ever still but vibrating at different frequencies. So that's the first one. That's the law of vibration, which I find pretty amazing because, for example, when I look at my chair or my phone or most things in my life, a lot of them seem to be solid and still, whereas the law of vibration teaches something completely different, which is quite fascinating. But the second thing that I wanted to talk about was the law of attraction. So the law of attraction is a secondary law which ultimately teaches that we attract things that are of a similar vibration. So what we think about, we attract. That's the simple sort of explanation, which is kind of acknowledged by some of the most established teachers in this topic. And I find that to be fascinating. So the interesting thing here is that when you combine the law of vibration and the law of attraction, it's that we ourselves, our body, is constantly vibrating and moving. And in terms of, as human beings, our attractive pull is said to come more so from our thoughts and our emotions. So the way I heard somebody explain it is that through our thoughts and emotions, we attract or we draw into our life people and circumstances, situations which are of an equal match to what we're vibrating with our thoughts and our emotions. I hope I've said that in a way that's understandable. But that concept blew my mind when I first heard about it. So an example, I'm just going to throw out an example just to kind of bring about a better clarity. So imagine in this scenario, going to the shops, and along the way, somebody says something or does something to offend you. So like after that issue, you spend a bit of time thinking about it, about how offensive it was and how dare they treat me this way and maybe why they done this. And maybe while you're in that mode of thought, other mindset, other thoughts, other similar vibrational ideas pop into your mind that are also frustrating. Well, according to the law of attraction, that will simply attract more circumstances and people and situations into your life that are of a similar vibration. Which, when I first heard that, scared the living daylights out of me. The idea that by thinking negative thoughts over a long period of time, you could actually affect your life in such a way that you are magnetically drawing negativity to unfold and manifest in your life. But the flip side of that, and we've got to talk about the flip side because life is all about a balance, but the flip side is by being aware of the law of attraction and using it in a positive way, you can actually better the likelihood of having some really positive outcomes in your life. So if we become what we think about, or if we get what we think about most of the time, then by concentrating on, I was about to say good vibrations, it reminds me of that song in the 80s by the Beach Boys. I think I might play that more as a bit of a reminder. But I digress. By focusing on better vibrations of thought, by having better conversations, by being slower to react to negative sensations, when we observe them, that we give ourselves basically better odds. It's almost like, what's better, going through life without direction or having direction? Once I became aware of these principles, it really made me want to think more about the things that I think about, how long I think about them for, the level of emotion that I'm expressing while I'm feeling negative or positive. I heard somebody once say in a seminar, and I thought it was a very simple and practical way of kind of demonstrating the power of these laws. And they simply said this: what you really, 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 really want, at some point you will attract the vibrational equivalent. And what you really, 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 really don't want, you'll attract that too. Which, depending on how you want to look at it, could be a very good thing or a very bad thing. I think that knowledge is power. And I think that with the awareness of this principle, it will be a great exercise to practice drawing in the kind of experiences that you want, as opposed to feeling like you're at mercy at the ebbs and flows of life. Because before coming into my still pretty basic understanding of these universal laws, life used to feel like it just happened to you. It used to feel like we just had to kind of deal with the storms as they come, and whatever good outcomes that we get, we celebrate them because you just don't know what tomorrow holds. Whereas as in terms of the law of attraction, the idea that ultimately you become or you get what you think about most of the time, it feels more empowering, because then the simple answer is, well, I say simple, it sounds simple, but like most things, harder to apply. I can appreciate that. But isn't it beautiful to know that by training ourselves to be more aware of what we think, what we say, how we feel, and what we choose to focus on, there is a much, much greater chance of having a more positive outcome, or more positive outcomes in life. I mean, I don't know about you, but I think that's a beautiful idea, that we can use these laws to bring about more harmony, better outcomes, better health, better relationships, better money, you name it, just by observing that principle. So yeah, that kind of brings me to the end of what I wanted to talk about, which is basically that our emotions, how we feel, really does matter. And it's interesting because in society, this is not really, I don't think it's appreciated enough, even though there is some appreciation of that now. But I think when we're looking at it from an attraction point of view, it just takes things to a whole new level. I'm reminded of that saying, as above, so below. So yes, this is Awakened Abundance. It's been great speaking with you on this topic of attraction and emotion. Feel free to like, share, comment, subscribe. You know, I'd like to always encourage some engagement in the comment section. And just like to finally thank you for your time. Look forward to the next one. Have a great day and an even better week.